Quentin Johnston, thanks for joining the podcast today. I know you're a busy man getting ready for the NFL draft, but how are we doing today? Thanks for joining the show.
Yeah, I appreciate you for having me. I've been doing pretty good.
Awesome. Where are you at right now? Where are you getting ready for the draft?
Plano, Texas.
Love it. Love it. So you grew up in
Yeah.
Texas. Obviously,
Uh,
we all know the importance of football in Texas, but when did you fall in love with the game of football? At what age?
um, Honestly, early on, I played multiple sports. From the time I was like five or six. At that point, I was kind of just playing just to be out there with my friends. And then probably around middle school for real is when I was like really like okay, like I feel like I can really do something in this. So yeah, right around that time.
Got it. And then you get to high school, and we all know what high school football is like in Texas. We've all seen the
Oh
movies,
yeah.
Friday Night Lights, all
Mhm.
that. How similar is it when it comes to the importance of football to the actual town that you played in?
Yeah. I mean, it's big, especially in that town. Not only being in Texas, but Temple, Texas, is a smaller town. We were 6A, then switched to 5A. I mean, it's a lot of great athletes that come, through Temple, but it's big. I mean, that's really almost like the heart and soul of Temple, Texas, is the high school football team. So, I mean, you got to show up every day for practice, and then show up even more for game time when you're under the lights.
Hell yeah. And then you also mentioned that you played multiple sports. I did a little bit of research.
Mhm.
I know you were a
Yeah,
super talented basketball player, right? So did
yeah.
you ever dabble in the recruiting process with college basketball?
No, I kind of played with it at first, but then I was like, nah, I'm kind of doing too much. Let me go ahead and just focus on one sport. But at the same time, it was weird because that was my first time actually having to transition and putting all my effort into just to one sport.
Yep.
So,
I feel like the Horned Frogs TCU could have used you in their Sweet Six or their round of 32 matchup last night against
oh yeah,
Gonzaga.
for sure, yeah, for sure.
I feel like you could make that team.
Oh yeah,
So actually, before getting into TCU, you were committed to Texas, right? It's powerhouse
oh yeah,
program, historic program. I feel like every Texas high school football player dreams about going to Texas, but you
yeah.
ultimately decommitted and swung your decision to Fort Worth and TCU. So what was it about the Horned Frogs that made you want to go there?
Yeah, for sure. And then at that time with my decision making, I was kind of everywhere. I mean, 'cause I was 17, 18 years old. I was trying to make probably the most important decision in my life. To that point. So it was hard for me. So went to TCU. Campus was small. Obviously, it's the private school. Coming from where I'm from, Temple. It's a smaller city, so I kind of just felt at home as soon as I got there. Class sizes was small. Having a better relationship with your professor, which obviously you don't have good grades, you can't play. So that was for sure something important to me. And then at the end of the day, my position coach, Coach Kelly, obviously he played at OU and then went to the league. So I was trying to play under somebody that actually been through the process.
Yeah, and so we all know about the magical season that TCU had this past season. Obviously, going to CFP for the first time, playing the national championship. But before we get to that, I want to throw it back to your freshman year on campus. So
Hmm.
you had to come in and you were the bottom of the barrel, right? We all know you were this super
No, yeah.
talented player, but how did you handle that? Always being the best player on your team, then you get to campus and you got
Mhm.
to kind of start over and earn the respect of your
Yeah.
teammates.
I mean, once you go into college, you always prepare for it as much as you can, but it's always another level of like, okay, like it's actually different up here. In like people aren't just talking, but I mean, obviously, I kind of just stayed quiet my first year. Obviously having that in mind that I'm not the best player. I was a 4-star recruit. I'm like it's 5-star, 100 other 4 stars in here too. So kind of just having that mindset of like, all right, like all the stars and stuff, we kind of gonna leave that in high school and just work. But like you said, kind of just starting off from scratch, learning a new playbook, offense, kind of learning how to mess with new quarterback, new O line, new running back, just trying to get that chemistry. And then I mean, like after a minute, like everything was clicking how it's supposed to.
Yeah, do you remember like one specific moment your freshman year you were like, okay, I won the respect of my teammates and like I'm good to go?
Yeah, for sure. It was one of our spring ball games, like before the season even started. I mean, like I was always trying to get to the front of the line when we were running at practices and like drills. I was always trying to work my way up to the front. But specifically one spring ball game, I think it was our second one. Um, Obviously, I was still running with the twos. I had to work my way up with the ones yet, but they had left some of the DBs in from the one group. So I'm like, okay, it's my time to do my thing.
Time
They
to
had me
go.
on. They had Yeah, they had me on. They had it on a deep post, I believe. And it was actually my first drive out there. just kind of put my head down and ran as fast as I can. Ended up catching a deep ball over the middle for like 60 or 70 yards, and I looked up, everybody was yelling and doing that. I'm like, okay, bet.
Yeah, hell
Feel
yeah.
just like high school again.
Hell yeah. And then you get into your sophomore year, and that's when you earned all Big 12 honors, right, as a wide receiver, first team all
Oh yeah.
Big 12. And so what was it that you think was like the key to your success that season that really made you jump
Mhm.
that leap to being a first team player?
Just my overall maturity. Obviously, it was my first year in college. I was still just trying to get my feet wet, and then that next year, kind of just went back from the previous year. Evaluated all the film, the competition, like who's coming back, who's not. If they're coming back, kind of breaking down their film more, so I can like learn like what to do when I match up against them. Then after that, I'm like, okay, like I'm comfortable. Like I got my first year up out of me. Like there's honestly really no reason just to be nervous and worked up like I was the games before that. So like after I like got that in my mind, I was good from there.
Yeah, confidence on the field goes a long way. And so
Oh yeah.
then we all know the magical season, your junior season this past year, right? You guys were unranked to start the season in the top 25 poll. You were ranked like seventh, predicted seventh to finish in the Big 12. And then you guys go
Yeah.
undefeated the regular season. You lost in the Big 12 championship, but you went to the CFP for the first time. You beat
Mhm.
Michigan. You lost in the Natty. We all know that story to Georgia. But
Yeah.
I guess like we talked about your individual success and why that was so
Mhm.
successful. But this year, this past season at TCU, why were you guys so successful? What was the key ingredient for the TCU this year?
Um, honestly, I don't know if it was either the new players that came in or the new coaching staff. Obviously, new coaching staff came in first time head coach with us, and then his strength and conditioning staff. Um, I mean, like kind of the story with anybody that is a first year head coach to be like, all right, like they'll be good probably in a few years from now, but like right now they're still everybody's trying to figure everything out. We were just hearing that so much and a lot of doubt, and then like you said, we was picked second to last in the Big 12, which we had been years before that too. So we're like, man, we can't keep coming on with this. I mean, like obviously we had a lot of seniors leaving this year, so we kind of just broke down like, look, we can't go for this no more. Like we got to come in every day, take practice way more serious than we need. And then as a team, I feel like we had, like a great amount of discipline, but we didn't really realize how much we actually needed until, the new coaches stuff came. So once we got that, we really kind of, took off from there.
Yeah, it's epic. And then so you guys make the college football playoff, and there's a lot of doubters that said after you guys lost in the Big 12 championship that you shouldn't be in the CFP. You guys
Yeah.
silenced those doubters after you just demolished Michigan. It was a good game, but
Oh
you
yeah.
ended up winning. So what were your vibes heading into that game? Were you guys, like you said earlier, did you have that confidence walking into that first CFP
Mhm.
game, like we're supposed to be here and we're here for a reason?
Oh yeah, I mean, because obviously being an underdog or being picked to lose a game wasn't something that was new to us. So that was something we just already kind of brushed off our shoulder, like before we even got to the stadium, before we got to Arizona. So he's like, all right, we're just gonna let them, talk in the media, and then a few of their players went on, their little interviews and had some stuff to say about us. So I'm like, all right, that
That's some
cool. We,
bulletin
we
board
ain't,
material right there.
yeah. So I'm like, okay, so yeah, that them kind of mocking us just kind of kept replaying in our heads. And then so we got to the game. I mean, like nobody was uptight, everybody was loose, and I mean, so we was just ready to get after it.
Yeah, and so in the locker room, what type of leader are you? Are you more the quiet leader, like followed by
Mm,
example, or are you loud speech guy? Like,
mm,
put me in the mind
yeah.
of Quentin Johnston.
So I wasn't named captain until this past year, due to me being like kind of the more quiet lead by example. That was just kind of always my vibe and stuff like that. But like being named the captain kind of forced me to be more that vocal leader, especially now that I wasn't the youngest, on the team anymore, which is kind of weird because it went by quick. So like I was used to like following what the captain say and doing whatever. And I looked up and then I'm like, oh snap, I'm a captain now. So especially with the younger freshmen and sophomore and stuff that was up under me. I just really had to kind of get out of my comfort zone for a minute, and after a minute, I got pretty used to it. But vocal, kind of nipping stuff in the bud before like if I see somebody about to do something dumb, I'm like okay, now we finna fix that right now. If I see us having a bad practice, like hey, we now everybody group up. We finna, fix this right now. We're not finna go home today, with a bad practice under our belt because I honestly can't afford that right now.
Yeah, hell yeah, that's super important. I guess before getting into the Georgia game, only have one question on the Georgia game. But were there any
Mm-hmm.
like leaders that you looked up to during TCU or maybe beyond TCU that really
Mm-hmm.
like helped you turn into the leader that you are today?
Oh yeah, for sure. Steve Avila, our lineman, for sure. He was honestly probably one of the most vocal ones, especially on the offensive side. Him and Max Duggan for sure. They were somebody that obviously they were there when I first got there. So they've been captains for a minute. So I'm always looking up, kind of seeing how they move and kind of like mimic that and some of the things I do.
Yeah, seemed like a coachable guy beyond the field as well.
Oh yeah,
Important. And so, yeah, getting to the Georgia game, we all know what happened. It's one of the best
yeah.
assembled teams in college football history. They're reigning champs. They go back to back. But what was your emotional state during that game? Like in the
Mm.
first quarter, it was obviously like started to be a runaway. But I guess like
Mm.
what did your coach say in the locker room at halftime, and like how did you guys like battle through that?
Yeah. So kind of going in the game, like honestly, I felt just like I did the Michigan game. Obviously, we were picked to lose again. I'm like, okay, it's the same narrative. We're gonna come out and show them what Big 12 can do. Obviously, like you said, it didn't happen like that. First quarter, I had a good matchup in Ringo. We were going back and forth. But some of the passes and stuff we weren't really on the same page, and like other times when I was open, they were sending an all out blitz. So um, like you said, it kind of got out of hand going in the locker room. Obviously, it was straight just motivation. Like everybody stayed, the game's not over. We're here. We deserve to be here because we didn't want to, have people saying nah, like they didn't even deserve to be there. So kind of just more of a mental battle towards the end of the game than anything. But yeah, it kind of is what it
Yeah,
is.
it is what it is, and I think regardless of the outcome, you guys put TCU on the map. They already were,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
now in this national kind of powerhouse sense. And so, congrats
yeah,
on an epic season. But I guess
yeah.
my last question on the college career before diving into some NFL future stuff: will that loss in that game spark some motivation for you moving forward in the rest of your career?
Oh yeah, for sure. It started honestly like the day after. So I took a few days off, just to kind of decompress from the season. And then shoot, I was right back up running training for the combine. So everything that I was doing in the combine, and then I was going to go back and do on pro day is still kind of being fueled from that game, and then the Big 12 championship game as well. And then kind of like honestly for me helped me have a good jump start to my NFL career.
Yeah, a loss isn't always the worst thing. And so now
Yeah.
turning to the NFL, right? So your first round draft pick projected. How surreal does that feel? Like when did you realize that like your dream could come true of making the NFL?
Kind of mid season this year. Obviously the first four games wasn't really looking how I wanted to look. I mean we played like Tarleton State. I got taken out the first quarter. We were already up. We played Colorado. I got a few passes, but it was kind of the first game. We weren't all the way connected with certain things, and then OU game and then the SMU game just really wasn't getting that many targets. Especially that OU game, they had me double covered. So but like everybody else was getting open. So I mean, it was pretty cool. But then that Kansas game when I had 200 and then the touchdown for the game when I'm like, okay, this is some top tier stuff. Like it's not a whole lot of people running around just doing this on a normal Saturday. So I mean that happened. That kind of just was always in the back of my head. It wasn't the main focus because obviously we still had games left. But yeah, from that point, and then when the season was over, I'm like, okay, it's time now.
Yeah, yeah. Was it always like growing up, like your dream was always like I want to be in the NFL?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It kind of came a little later than most people because I was playing a whole bunch of sports. I was kind of everywhere. I was pretty good at everything. So I'm like, I really don't know, like whichever one. And then middle school, going into high school, when I started getting offers, I'm like, okay, this is what I want to do for sure.
Got it, got it. And so you guys just had the NFL Combine a few weeks ago, but what do the months look like between the championship game and the draft with the Combine? Are you locked in more training? Is there more media? Like, what has that process been like
Yeah.
for you?
Oh yeah, for sure. Definitely way more media. Training is kind of the same. Obviously, not being in school anymore, like it kind of loosens my schedule up. But training 2 3 times a day. Just especially for the like combine and then pro day, just like 40 stuff like stars. As far as working out, more explosion, more just heavy lifting on the days I need to. Other than that, it's been been pretty cool, but I've been locked in for sure.
Yeah, and so how do you like this media stuff? I mean, you've probably been doing more podcasts, gained some more exposure. Like, do you hate it? Does it feel like a job, or like, what's your
Yeah,
mindset around media? Because there's going to be a lot more like media attention on you now that you're going to the
yeah,
NFL.
yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, honestly, at first, because like I said, I wasn't always the vocal guy. I hated it. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like they used to pull me in for practice. Like you got to interview. I'm like, bro, like tell them I'm not here. Tell them I have to go home and do something. But then obviously I had more and more. I couldn't really shake it or dug it. So I'm like, whatever. I'm gonna just with all of them that come, just they kept getting better and better. I kept getting easier. With my speaking and stuff. So I mean, like I'm at a point now. It's just cool. It's whatever. Like
I
I'm having fun with it.
Yeah, I always tell athletes like, and I think they should look at it as like it's an opportunity to inspire the next generation, right? Because
Oh
there's
yeah.
a lot of guys looking up, they want to be like QJ, right? And they want to be like
Hmm.
you, and so it's a good opportunity to like tell your story and inspire the next generation. That's always
Oh
my
yeah.
advice when it comes to the media stuff.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
and so putting yourself like you can market yourself right now. Like, why do you believe a team should take you in the first round of the NFL draft?
Yeah, for sure. Because I'm for sure a special talent. Like what I can do. After the catch, my yards after catch is something crazy. Not only as a football player, but a 6'4" receiver. Like not a lot of 6'4" receivers are moving and making 100 guys miss as soon as he catches the ball like me. I feel like I got obviously with a big frame, bigger target. That they can for sure use in the league. So
Hey, if I'm a GM, I'm looking at you for sure. And so,
yeah.
what are you most excited about when you get to the NFL? Maybe it's better coaching, maybe it's
Mm,
money for your family, maybe it's just more
mm.
fandom, better football. Like, what's that one thing you're looking for when you get to the NFL?
So obviously with any of like the top players and stuff like that, people still try to like nitpick and try to find little flaws in your game that they like, nah, this and that. My thing that a lot of people kind of harping on right now is they say I'm just a straight body catcher or whatever. So kind of just killing those little thoughts in people's head. Kind of showing people that not like I can actually catch the ball. That's why I'm a receiver. That's why I've been doing good in college. Like I can actually do it. So that's one of the things. And then another thing is just going and either playing alongside some of the players I've been looking up to or playing against them, which is still going to be the same amount of fun for me. But like I said, it's a dream come true.
Yeah, and you mentioned some of those playing alongside some of your idols. Maybe like, what
Mm.
receiver in the NFL do you think right now that you most resemble?
So a guy that I've been watching, really, I'm not gonna say my full game, but as far as like my releases and stuff, I've been trying to, copy off of him is Devontae Adams. Obviously one of the best, if not the best receiver in the NFL right now, and has been for a little minute. He's just like everything he does from his routes to his out of the breaks to it's just crazy to me. So it's something that I've been watching and trying to model for a long time.
Yeah, he's by far the best route runner in the NFL. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And so, like, flash forward 10 years, right? You're a 10-year veteran in the NFL. What do you hope people will be saying about Quentin Johnston?
Yeah, he was everything that we thought he would be and more. He was one of those special players that don't come around too often. So if it's anything I think that he would say, I would for sure hope it's that.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, good luck this in the NFL draft coming up in April. We're gonna finish up with some rapid fire, and then we'll get you out of here.
All right, but
All right. So, who was your favorite athlete growing up as a kid?
favorite athlete, it was in the NFL, Deshaun Jackson. And college, it was DeAnthony Thomas and Tavon Austin.
Awesome. Awesome. D'Anthony
Yeah,
Thomas, fan of the show.
yeah, for sure.
Favorite athlete in current day sports?
Favorite athlete, just in any sport.
Yeah, any sport. Doesn't have to be football.
Let me see. Football, Justin Jefferson. Basketball, um, LeBron James and Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole been going crazy. He played like he at the Rick or something.
He does.
I mean like every time the Warriors on, I'm just gonna go see what he's gonna do
Yeah,
real
he's
quick.
fun to watch. Have you
Yeah,
got to connect with Justin Jefferson at all?
no, I haven't.
Yeah, cool. He'll be a good
Yeah.
guy to connect with in the league. I mean, he is just taken off. I think he was offensive
Oh
player of the
yeah, for
year
sure.
this year.
Oh yeah,
Who is the best NFL wide receiver of all time on your list? Who's the GOAT?
Randy Moss.
Mm,
Yeah,
big Randy Moss fan.
yeah.
All right, couple more here. What's your pregame meal? Day of.
Day of. So I'm not a heavy eater pregame. So probably like some pasta, like spaghetti or something. But I
Mhm.
usually don't even finish the whole thing. I take a few bites and be like, nah, I'm gonna throw up if I keep eating before the
You're
game.
you're gonna eat on the field. Um,
Yeah, for sure.
favorite music artist?
Favorite music artist, probably Lil Wayne.
That's a good
Yeah.
one. Biggest fear?
Biggest fear. Um, Let me see. Biggest fear is just shoot. I guess right now with this next step, really not living all the way up to what I think I could do, or like what other people expect for me to do, which is why I work so hard every day.
Love it. Last rapid fire. What is one word that best describes you?
Driven for sure.
Driven. All right, so we're gonna finish up with one last question. This goes back to the point of like lessons that you've learned along your career that you could pass along to the next generation. So, if you had that one lesson that you've learned throughout your football career, on and off the field, that you could pass along to the next generation to help them accomplish their dreams, what would that one lesson be?
Kind of a little phrase that I've been going by for a minute is in due time, because everybody obviously has an end goal. There's a great plan for everybody. So everybody just has to know, like, say you and your friend got a business idea and his takes off, and then all of a sudden you sad and kind of just veer away from it because you don't think it's going to work out for you. It for sure is just not at that time. It wasn't your time to do that yet. Obviously, just stay down and keep working, and your time is coming for sure.
In due time. If people don't know the name Quentin Johnston, they will soon. Quentin, thank you for joining the show today. Good luck the rest
For
of the
sure.
way. I'll be rooting for you in the NFL. Hope to see your name called on day one, and good luck with everything, man.
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate you.